So our lesson on Law of Cosines Part 2 is going to be the same setup, same Law of Cosines equations that we have been using, except today, instead of solving for a leg, today we're going to solve for an angle. And the reason we have to solve for an angle is because we're going to be given the scenario of side, 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 where you know all three sides and nothing else. So first thing I'd like you to do, even though you won't want to do this, cross off this other formula. The reason we're going to cross off that formula is because I have no intention of giving you formulas on your quizzes or final. So this is just one more formula you'd have to memorize. I guess if you really want to use it, by all means, go ahead and memorize it. But most people would agree it's not worth your time. I think it's better if we just know Law of Cosines, the original one, and we'll know how to type it on our calculator once we talk about the lesson today. So there's a big note to yourself, and it says, use the biggest number. Now that we're doing Law of Cosines, I would like you to always choose the larger when you're doing Law of Cosines. So I like to see a picture of the triangle. First thing I'm going to do is draw a really generic triangle.
Does this one change into sign too?
Eventually we'll do Law of Sines. Yep. So go ahead and label your triangle. Little a is 22. Little b is 19, and little c is 14. So do you notice on this example we have no angles, and all we have are the three sides. Yeah. So I'm going to follow the instructions that says, because at first you don't know where to start, because they don't really tell you. So again, to avoid the ambiguous case, and so we all do the problem the same way, when you do Law of Cosines, you got to make a choice. I want you to choose the larger one. So who's larger, A, B, or C? A. So we're going to be using the A version of the formula right here. And let's fill it in. Now this time, little a. I know little a. What is little a? 22, isn't it?
Oh, 22, yeah.
So we'll do 22 squared equals, and then the other two legs can go in any order because it's that is the commutative property. But I'll write 19 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 19 times 14. And then here's where it's different, times the cosine of a, because I don't know him. Now yesterday was really easy on the calculator. You just whipped the whole thing in your calculator in one step, hit enter, and you were done. This is not so easy because we need to solve for this part right here, angle A. And if you think about how you solve equations, isolate a variable, you start moving things away from the variable, sometimes one at a time, and it's kind of like opening a present. Yes, sir?
Well, I was just going to ask, like, how do you know what formula to use?
You always use the biggest one. So whichever side is the biggest, that's the version I want to use.
Okay.
All right, let's think about this, guys. I'm going to have everybody start by typing in a 22 squared on their calculator. You don't have to hit enter, just hit 22 squared. Now don't type anything for a while, just hold on to that. Theoretically, if I took this 19 squared and I had to shift him to the other side, how would I move him? I would subtract him, don't do it yet. And then how about this 14 squared? Subtract, okay. Now I'm going to draw a symbol right here. We'll talk about what that means in a second. Okay, now you have a negative 2. How is this negative 2 attached to the A? How is he attached? He's being multiplied right now. So how would you move him? You would divide. Okay, so we're going to have to divide by that. How about the 19? We're going to have to divide. How about the 14? Divide. And then I'm going to draw that little weird little squiggle again. And then how would I get rid of a cosine? Second cosine, inverse cosine. Okay, oops, that's an inverse. We're going to do this on the calculator. And what these squiggles mean, that's where I want you guys to hit enter. Because every time you change an operation, you're going to have to hit enter on your calculator. So, let's see here. Where's my calculator? On. Make sure you're in degree mode. I don't think I am, so I need to change that. You have trig kids who use your calculators, and we've been working in radian mode lately, so always check your calculator every day, guys. Okay, so I had you guys start with 22 squared, and then we're going to subtract the 19 squared, and also subtract the 14 squared. And then what did I say that little squiggle meant? Hit enter. You got a negative 73. Now I'm going to take that negative 73, and I'm going to divide him by, this is the part that some kids screw up, a negative 2. See, that's a negative 2. And then we're going to divide by the 19, and then we're going to divide by the 14. And then what's that squiggle mean? Enter. And I got a teeny decimal. What's my last step? Inverse cosine, and then do second negative sign to pull up the answer, so you don't have to type that whole thing in.
Wait, what are you supposed to hit?
Second cosine, and then second negative symbol. And then you get, voila! What did we just find?
82.
Angle A. Very good. We found an 82. That's right. So angle A is 82.1. I'm going to fill that in my picture. Was that so bad? No, I mean, it's worse than yesterday because you got to do like 3 different steps, but not that bad.
I got an error.
You got an error. Did you get the 0.1372 blah, blah, blah when we divided by all that? Miss Hannah? Did you get this? Did you ever get this number on your screen? Okay, I have 2 thoughts. I think either you divided by a positive 2 instead of a negative 2.
I put negative.
Okay, did you put a subtraction sign instead of a negative sign? Negative sign's the little guy. Can you tell?
It's a negative.
Okay, did you ever get 0.1372? Okay, somewhere it went wrong. Let-
I think I put a negative for the 19.
Oh, yeah, it's a positive 19. Okay, problem solved. Okay, so back to our picture. Get out of here.
So that's angle A.
Okay, yes. Miss Brittany had a great question. She said, get out of here, stupid calculator. Okay. She said, now that we're going to use law of sines, and how do we know we have to use law of sines? Because we have an angle with a side across from it. She says, are we supposed to choose the smaller one now because we're doing law of sines technically? My answer to that is yes. We still need to avoid the ambiguous case. So still choose the smaller one when you do law of sines. So you're going to start at sine of 82.1 over 22. And then which one are you going to choose? Sine of C over 14. This is the 3-step typing thing on your calculator. So sine of 82.1 times the 14. Then what do I have to do? Divide by 22. You got a teeny decimal. And what's my last step? Second sine of angle C. Or second sine of that decimal. What is angle C? What was it? Not at all what I wrote down. 39.1. Okay. So I found angle A. I found angle C. I still need angle B, but that should be a really easy question.
Hit enter or whatever. And divide it by
I can't subtract. Could someone do that for me?
58 is
58.8. Nice job.
And then I think you have to
Okay.
the second side. And then hit second.
It depends on what you're given. In this particular problem, you only have all the sides, so your job is to find 3 angles. The problems yesterday, you had to find, let's see, 1 side and then 2 angles. Yes, you have to find 3 things every time, unless I only ask you for part. Shh, shh. Okay, guys, shh, quiet, quiet. Okay. I know you guys are running out of room, and I don't really want to do all these examples, so let's jump to number 4. Okay, we're on number 4. Let's draw ourselves a generic triangle. And let's label him ABC. So little a is 19, little b is 21, and little c is 13. Where do I start? I know it's law of cosines, but where do I start? The biggest one, so that would be the b. Very good. We're going to use the b version of this formula. Have you kind of already accidentally memorized it? It's not really memorizing the formula, it's memorizing what you fill in. It's really not that bad. It's like legs, 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 and then finally an angle. So b squared should go first, so we're going to write a 21 squared. And then who comes next? Yeah, and either one of the other legs, but 19 squared would follow the formula. Plus 13 squared minus 2 times 19 times 13. And then times the cosine of, this is important, what angle did I do? B, good. So on your calculator, you always start with the big leg squared, and then you're going to subtract the first 2. And then a squiggle, because that means you hit enter. Then you're going to, this is the part I'm worried about, divide by a -2, divide by a 19, and divide by a 13. And then hit enter. And at the very end, inverse cosine. Sounds right. Oh, I haven't done it. Let's see. 21 squared. Now, if you didn't get it last time, try typing it again. And even if you did get it last time, try it again anyways, just for good habit.
Dang.
Got it right this time? Good. Okay. And the important part is you know when to hit. Oops, look, I almost typed inverse sine. Would that have given me the right answer? Of course not, but that would have been a common mistake. Just typing bad. 79.6, I agree. Okay, so now we are going to set up law of sines. Uh-oh. Okay, you got your stuff on your screen still?
Yeah.
Do you have all that? Did you do inverse sine, Josh?
Oh, I didn't do -2.
Ah, there you go. Okay, so now we're going to set up law of sines. So you're going to set up sine of 79.6 over 21. And then since I'm doing law of sines now, which one do I choose? C, because it's smaller. So sine C over 13. So let's multiply. Sine 79.6 times 13. Divide by the 21. And then at the very end, do inverse sine of that. I need some calculator help because I'm too lazy to type this. 37.5. Okay, everyone try typing it. Make sure you get 37.5. Again, if I had my life to live over again, I would have made a much more spaced out worksheet with fewer examples because you guys catch on fast. All right, so what's angle A? 62.9. Oops, whoops, whoops. We found A at the end because that was just the third angle.
I thought we were solving.
The very first part we solved for B, cosines.
So if you ever ask us for a third angle and we
Yep.
give you like C instead of A, would that be wrong?
Well, you're never wrong. Here's the problem. Remember I said about the ambiguous case yesterday? If you solve it in a different order than us, you might be finding the ambiguous triangle, which is the other guy, his evil twin. So you won't match my answer key. So then I have to go sit there and figure out if what you did was correct or not. And it's a pain in my butt, so please don't do it.
Well, I'm just saying.
So like here,
Stupid mistakes like that. Like
if you solved for A on law of sines, you might look out and just get the same thing as us and then it's no worries. But if it happens to be the kind of triangle that's ambiguous, you'll still be right. I just have to think a little harder about whether or not you did it right. So, yes, ma'am. Sure. Yes, Jasmine.
What if you get a negative? That would be like, before you do the cosine inverse, what if you do negative?
That's okay, as long as it's not bigger than 1. Her question was, what if before you do inverse cosine you have a negative number? If it's a negative little decimal, it'll still come out okay. The thing that will not work is if you do inverse cosine or inverse sine of something that is bigger than 1, like 1.3. There's no such value, so that means you typed something wrong. And your calculator will tell you right away, like, this doesn't work, unknown. Okay, there was a request for number 7. Oh, you chickens, they're just decimals. Okay, so let's draw our triangle.
What should we round to since they're like...
Yeah. It doesn't tell you in the directions, does it?
No.
All right, so it looks like I have 4 sig figs in this problem, so let's keep that consistent and keep 4 sig figs for our answer. Sig figs is significant figures from science, same thing. Okay, A is 21.46, B is 12.85, we're on number 7, and C is 9.179. So who's bigger? A, so that's the formula we're going to be using. So type carefully, 21.46 squared And then 12.85 squared, and then 9.179 squared minus 2. Oh my gosh, I can't fit this in here. Sorry. Another thing to live my life over on. Bigger spaces. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, okay, not sure what just happened, but we are going to continue now on number 7. We have number 7 set up, and it's kind of annoying because there's a lot of decimals, but we decided we're going to round this answer to 4 sig figs. So on your calculator,
Why did we do the biggest one this time?
we always in law of cosines choose the biggest one to start. Law of sines, you choose the smaller, but law of cosines, we choose the bigger one. So you start with 21.46 squared. You're going to subtract the first 2 legs squared over, and then make sure you hit enter. Then you're going to careful divide by -2, divide by 12.85, and divide by 9.179. And then you're going to hit enter. And at the very end, inverse cosine of our little decimal. Can I get some help? 153.5, I heard? All right. So angle A is 153.5. And now we're ready to set up law of sines. So sine of 153.5 over 21.46. Now that we're doing law of sines on this part of the problem, I want you to choose the smaller. So which one are you going to choose? C. So sine of 9.179. No. What did I just do? Anyone catch it? I just took the sine of a leg. That's dumb. Alright, so sine of C over 9.179. And then just type very carefully. Sine 153.5 times 9.179 divided by 21.46. Hit enter, and then do inverse sine of that little decimal. I heard 11. Anyone second that? Is it 11.0?
Yeah.
Okay, since I want 4 sig figs, I'm going to put 0.00. And then last part is angle B.
Wait, why did you put 2
They wanted, we decided to do 4 sig figs because there was 4 sig figs. What was the exact decimal?
I
Oh, okay. What's this answer, Britt? What's 2 after?
It's just 5.
50. Okay. That would make sense.
So that's why in science they want us to do the lowest sig thing, so they want us to do highest right now.
Well, the original problem were all 4 sig figs, right? So in science, your teacher would want you to put 4 sig figs on all your answers. Yep. I'm not going to count you wrong if you guys round differently than if I don't ask you a certain rounding space, I can't be that picky about it. Okay, yeah. Sine 153.5, shh, guys, too loud, shh, times 9.179, divide it by 21.46, and then inverse sine of that decimal. Yep, because that's law of sines. We're going to do the applications at the end. There are some, right? No? Oh, lame. I guess we're done. All right.